It's Kent with MrTruck.com for today's truck review. It's a 2024. Yes, it's next year's truck. And this is the LTZ 3500 single rear wheel, 1 ton from Chevrolet, the 3500. And it's got the 6.6 Duramax with more power and more torque. It's at 470 horsepower and 975 torque. And it's a torque monster. So more power. This is with extra things done to the engine. Still the 10-speed Allison branded transmission. And we towed 8,000 pounds because we didn't get the right ball from somebody. And anyway, that's where it stands. Beautiful looking truck. I love the chrome on it. I love the new lights on it. Interior is so awesome. And we're going to show you the interior in just a little bit. But we've been driving all over the place. Well, actually, I towed 11,000 pounds coming out here because I had my pickup on the back. And then we ended up with the Jeep on the back. So now we're at 8,000 pounds. So I've towed more than that. And it did really well, of course. And we did my hill test out here in the middle of nowhere in the sand hills, to where, you know, watching the RPM go up the hill and see how well it braked down the hill with the exhaust brake and, you know, tow haul mode and all that. But anyway, we had fun with the truck. It's a gorgeous truck. And it's 2024. So come watch the review with us with MrTruck.com. I've always had a giant fan for several years now. But it's got that cool air cleaner that comes in through the hood and shoots across over to the air cleaner. Right there. It's a cool idea. You got a nipple to get the dust out. It drops into that little nipple. You squeeze it and go boom. Oh. Love these steps. Love this step. Now Ford's got one. Must be a good idea. And I love the bumper step. We don't need these fancy tailgates. Just give me a bumper step. Cool little Chevy bow tie. The headlights are new for this year. Grill's changed a little. Cool fog lights. I'm getting used to the mirrors. Of course, I'm using my tilt trailer. 8,000 pounds behind the rascal. Oh yeah, look at my Gen Y hitch. That one, I think, let's see, let's read up on it. The Mega Duty. 6-inch strap, 2.5-inch shank, 3,000 pound tongue weight. 21,000 pounds of trailers with that Gen Y. Adjustable hitch wheel. That's a 2.5-inch shank. Fits right on that 2.5-inch receiver on this 3500 Chevy. Love these Gen Y hitches.
Don't go away, MrTruck.tv. We'll be right back.
This is the coolest thing. Chevy started, now they've all three of the OEMs have it. But you turn on that blinker and it shows you all the way down your trailer. I mean, this trailer's 8.5 feet wide. It's outside the fenders, and I can see clear past the fenders. If I was a box trailer, like an RV trailer, I can see the world. This is so cool. My favorite thing is these. Let's see, let's try this one. There's the other side. Isn't that so cool? See those cars sneaking up on you? Yeah, that's so awesome. Well, we're in this LTZ 2024. Look at that, it's 95 degrees, it's toasty. But gauge layout is really cool. It's really cool. That one's about 12.3, where all your toys are for driving. Then this big one over here, my goodness, that's 13.4 and touchscreen. Does all things for your trailer and all that fun stuff. So you can set up your trailer and the height and the weight, oil changes and all that. And let's see what else is in here. Let me go to the mode button. There's that mode button. And let me switch it to mode, and I'll go back here and see what it does. Normal. And there's, wait a minute, that was normal. So what's this one? Off-road. Off-road normal, which is okay because it's got like a 2-speed transfer case. See 4 high, 4 low, and that's all you need, you know. And actually, I like the tow haul mode button. You just push that and it comes on. So you used to be, you had to run that dial over to it, but this is much better. Got 4-wheel drive them up in the sand here, unloading a trailer. But yeah, pretty cool. And there's the brake controller, and we love this puppy. It's a great spot, and it works now. For a while, I couldn't get the couldn't shift it on the go for gain, and now I can. So it's good. That's a good thing. A lot of times you need to do that when you're going on curves and bad traffic and such. You need more brake power. The tray is here for you throw your junk in, like me. That is a big tray. You throw notebooks in there and all kinds of stuff. And of course the cup holder. And the big center console with cup holders in the back. And all kinds of places. I do like the way they have their phone charger right there. I think that makes a lot of sense. And then, if that's at an angle, then you got a bunch more outlets. 12 volt on that side, and over here you got the USB puppies down in there. But anyway, nice layout. And this is a loaded. You can see it's got some wood accents in here in this LTZ. It's one away from high country, so it's pretty maxed out on cool stuff. No moonroof though. I was kind of surprised. This one didn't have a moonroof. But yes, indeed. Now I'm going to go over some of the other stuff in here. So I'm going to turn this camera off. It hasn't cooked yet. Exhaust brake, which goes hand in hand with tow haul mode. And it's a single kind of exhaust. It's like full exhaust brake when you do use it. Steering wheel. So there you can see the actual turn the thing on. And then you've got the set side, which means you just pull down on this. And resume is pushing up. And you can run your miles and all that. So I love this. Adaptive cruise control takes a lot of the work out of towing. Lets the computer figure it all out for you. I love heads-up display. And this one I need to go up to a building to really see it. But you can see where it's at there. I love heads-up display. It's a big safety item for me. In this 2024 1-ton 3500, it's a single rear wheel, and it's 2024 an LTZ Silverado, single rear wheel crew cab with the Duramax 6.6, and of course the branded Allison. Now I was supposed to get, just got this truck, I had to go pick it up. I was supposed to get a gooseneck ball. The Chevy people from the factory called me. Said, what do I want? Comes to the fifth one. I need a gooseneck ball. I'm going to pull a horse trailer. Lo and behold, I get the truck and there's no gooseneck ball. There's a big fifth wheel in the way. But so I'm pulling bumper pull. That's how it turns out. You got to keep dealing with it. I didn't have time, or I would have grabbed one of my Kingpin conversions and threw it on a gooseneck, but I just ran out of time. All these too many things going on at the same time here. So I'm pulling my 8,000-pound trailer that has my Jeep original Wrangler. And we're going to test out some roads. We're on a dirt road now. Of course, it's rough. I feel like bouncing around. Had so much rain up here. This road was underwater about the last 30 days. And we're drying out a little bit, but yeah. So it means I have 1,000 mosquitoes. And all the barn swallows are out there trying to eat them. The mud swallows. So anyway, I'm going to take it on my sim route up 34. I'm going to Greeley, where they have all those bunches and bunches of hills. That seems like we're in the sand hills. So you go through a whole bunch of hills, and you know, it's a pretty good test for a truck. It's not like a 7% grade, but it does get that kind of angle going up the hill, and then you go down the hill. But you know, watching the RPMs will tell you the whole story of how much the engine's putting out, or how easy or hard it is on them. Looking at the MPG, looking at the RPMs. Yeah, I drove this truck a while back with Andre on that 100-mile run. And I'll give you some of those inputs on it. He was pulling a little bigger trailer, as I recall. He's on 10,600. And on that 100-mile loop, which was some 75, some 65 miles an hour, it got like 11.5, which is pretty good for 10,600. We're not doing an MPG loop here. Just trying to get a feel for how easy this truck can pull the trailer. I mean, it's all kinds of power. This is the new one, the 2024. So they did jump it up. The horsepower went up 25, and the torque went up 65. So now we're at 470 horsepower and 975 torque. Plenty of torque. It's a good looking truck, but we're going to talk about what all looks like, what all it's equipped with. This is the first year that they've had adaptive cruise control, which is pretty cool. And it's with the trailer, so that's what we're going to do. We're going to use adaptive cruise control with the trailer. Kind of watch things, see how we hold the speed. So now I'm getting the mail out here in the middle of the wilderness, in the sand hills. So I'll be right back. On the road again. Just can't wait to get on the road again. It's about time for some new tires. I got 14-ply tires on this car trailer. We put a lot of miles, a lot of years on it. Put on new brakes last year, and hubs and rotors and all that fun stuff. Bearings. It's tire year. Gotta keep maintaining these puppies. It's been an awfully good trailer. It's a low trail tilt, 22-footer. 18-foot tilts and 4-foot sets there. But we've got all the toolboxes. We've got tire pressure monitor, heat monitor on the tires. So we do everything to keep this puppy rolling. It's my main trailer now. It's a little dump trailer. But I can, you know, gross out of 14,000 pounds. So the first part of the road is level. As we go up by Montfort's, or not Montfort's, now it's five rivers. A lot of feedlots out here, a lot of dairies out here, a lot of corn, a lot of trucks. This is my kind of country. There's semis going all over, and hot shotters going all over for the oil field business. So lots of activity out here. The Platte's about, it's 2 miles from our house. It's like it was our last location. The Platte was 2 miles away, but it was outside of Brighton. So anyway, this truck is smooth, it's good looking, it's quiet. Duramax was born the quietest diesel back in 2001, I think. Very smooth transmission. Of course, we're not, you know, hurting it at 8,000 pounds. So we do this forever. But now we're going to start climbing some hills. See where my RPMs are. Transmission's only 113 degrees. We're just barely using this puppy. Gauges look good. Temperatures in the middle. Climbing at this first hill. Where are my RPMs? There they are. Jeepers, we're only putting along here about 1,400 RPM. Doing 69 miles an hour. Okay, I'm going to set the cruise. Get all this figured out. Heated steering wheel. This thing is loaded. Okay. 62 miles an hour. We're climbing up this hill. Oh, we did finally go to 1,800 RPM, which is nothing. Now we're going down the hill, finally goes into a 2-lane highway. Oh, I love these mirrors. The camera and the mirrors. Now everybody's going to that, but Chevy was the first, the king of the cameras. And it's great to be able to see it all the way to the back of your trailer, because usually you can't do that with a mirror. These cameras, you can. levels out. Staying at 65 miles an hour. That is so cool. Ford had it too earlier. Now General Motors has it to where you can do all this with the trailer. And that is so cool. Some mosquitoes are still attacking me. Okay, we crested the hill at 1600 RPM. Just rolly hills and mosquitoes. Like the interior, this is pretty good looking. Looks like it has some that open pore wood. It's LTZ is one away from the high country, so it's the second to the highest interior, and it's good looking. We've done a few changes to this. Doesn't have a moonroof in it. Nice console, nice seats. Now I'm so happy the steering wheel and the seats all line up. We're going straight. You know, I think they changed that in 2019 and 20 on the full side on a 3/4 ton heavy duties. I like to be able to. Everything's parallel. The mirrors are parallel. The seats are parallel. The steering wheel. I'm looking ahead. Everything lines up. Good spotter mirrors on these. Yeah, we're maintaining 65, climbing the hill. Two little hills here. It drops down to, it's like 1300 RPM. Now this is all good. Crested the hill at 15. Now we're going to go downhill a few loops, so it should drop real low in RPMs because you're not struggling at all. We're actually coasting. That's saying cool about these Duramax engines is, you know, when you take your foot off the throttle, even if you're going downhill wherever you're going, it shuts off the fuel. So even the RPMs look like they're crazy. They're not doing anything. You're not hurting the engine. It's a cool thing that GM did on those. Because what happens, you go downhill, your RPMs on their own crop up. So as long as you're not getting to the throttle, all you're doing is making the pistons run up and down faster. Okay, at top of the hill, 1600. This is how I like to test this truck. I don't, you know, can't go to the mountains today, but this is nothing to this. You know, the Raptor was that way too. Hard to change any RPM climbing the hill or not. The Raptor R that I tested 3 weeks ago, and this puppy's doing very well. I mean, it's got all the extra torque and horsepower now, so I'm sure I could be doing something like this with a 15,000 pound load. I think it is, you know, we don't look at the stickers anymore because General Motors decided to get goofy. Payload's still more accurate, but the trailer capacity is just total ruin. This garbage, it just doesn't mean anything. It's probably off 2,000 RPM, but or 2,000 pounds, but I think this one actually, I did look it up, they're saying it's rated to 20,000. I think the door says 22,000, so we're going to ignore those stickers. But anyway, me and Andre talk about that every time we're driving, so I'm sure you've heard this many, many times. And it's terrible because they had the big advantage there when they were the only ones that gave you a VIN number and that all the towing capacity, axles, caliber, everything all made match to that truck, and now they don't. Okay, I'm climbing one more hill. See where we're going. This is getting us. Yeah, it's not much torture there. We're gonna have a hard time even hitting 1600 RPM. This is like a 3-loop hill. Interesting. Yeah, up to about 16, not quite 1700. Now we're just gonna be cruising on in. But yeah, interior's nice on these. It's quiet, very quiet. That engine's very quiet. Now, I don't know if you even feel the transmission shift. Of course, this doesn't tell you what gear we're in. But, you know, I wasn't climbing a mountain, but there's pretty good grades there. They didn't even shift down. Got plenty of power between the gears. That's nice thing about a 10-speed, is your gears are close together. So, you know, you can jump around a little bit there and hold your RPMs. It's not like, you know, the old 4-speeds or 6-speeds even, where you had a big gap between them. And I'm not even using the exhaust brake. I probably shouldn't try that. Where's my exhaust brake? It's over here somewhere. There it is. Push that puppy on. It may not do a whole lot, but we got it on. Tow haul mode's a little tricky too. It's on the bottom of one of the better now. You just push on the bottom part. Used to be you had to turn the dial really carefully to get it in tow haul mode, so I like that better. Just having that button, that's an improvement on these trucks. Geez, what happened there? We dropped down to 1800 to climb that hill. Now I need to find a good long downhill and see what the exhaust brake does. This is a stage, just a regular standard exhaust brake. It's not a 2-speed or one that lines up with your brake. So it's the normal exhaust brake. Tow haul mode on this Allison brand transmission worked really well. Slowing down, turn a corner, downshifted 3 times, which kind of surprised me. That you want, because exhaust brake is on, so that was kicking in. And the tow haul mode was letting the transmission downshift when it needed to. But yeah, pretty cool to have all that working for you. And that's the nice thing about diesels is you have the exhaust brake, and if you got a well-tuned transmission, you got great tow haul mode where it downshifts after you hit the brakes or going downhill pretty hard. Well, I went and picked this up where we have all of our fleet vehicles, and I didn't have time for them to deliver one to me, so I went up there and took this trailer, my 22-foot load trail car trailer, tail trailer, and pulled it up there with my 150, my 2018 F-150, and then I grabbed this truck, hooked it to the trailer, loaded my F-150 on the trailer. And so we were, this is like 8,000 pounds. That would have been probably 11,000 pounds. This was just cruising. Now, one problem I had, I've never seen this before, it wouldn't let me adjust the brake controller on the road. It's got a great brake controller position. And it was set on 4. And I needed more because I didn't have any braking power. So I had to really be careful getting it to a point where I could pull off and adjust it. But I've never seen a truck ever, and I think it's some kind of problem. I couldn't find it in the programming. This has a trailer app, all those things you need to set, the weight of your trailer and the length and the size and, maintenance kind of things. But I never found anything in there to lock in your brake controller settings. When I pulled over, of course, it all worked, and I was stopped, and I was able to get it up to 6 gain, which is where I needed it. So I'm not sure if it has to be a malfunction, because that's not very safe. If you can't adjust your brake controller on the go when something happens, where you're in a little different ice situation, we want less brake, or if you're, getting shoved in the road or somebody's pushing you off. Because the brakes, between loaded and empty, there's a big difference. Sometimes you got to adjust them. And I couldn't do it until I stopped. But anyway, we safely got through that ordeal. So I need to ask GM what the deal is, if there's some special, because I couldn't find anything in the trailer app section on this center stack. But anyhow, so I have towed, 11,000 pounds when I was with Andre. We were towing, close to that. So I towed that much several times with this truck. And, all the extra power, torque, no problem with this. I'm glad that they did do that, increase the power. Boy, I love the heads-up display on this. It's clear, and now they're all going to it, but I think it's just so cool. Heads-up display, it keeps your eye on the windshield on the road in front of you. I think it's a good safety thing to have. This is a 3500 single rear wheel. So what you can count on this is like what Ford and Dodge do. They put a wedge between the axle and the springs to lift the back end up. And I guess that means when you squat, you don't squat as less. You can't squat as much because you can't go down any further than what the wedge allows the springs. So I wish they would do something like air ride, so that was adjustable instead of, just because actually that wedge makes these 3500s and like a Ford F350, they ride rougher because of that, because you're pushing up on the spring. Anyway, brake controller, we just talked about that. It's in great shape. We're actually using a Gen Y hitch on the back of this. But these have got massive springs besides that wedge they use to keep it from squatting too much. It's got a big spring stack. I mean, it's got to be one of the biggest sets out there without going to a dually. And it's got 2 leaf springs on top, the overload springs. But this puppy, MSRP, is $83,330. It's not much higher for a dually, but that's what this one is. And, you know, it's got a 36-gallon tank, which I really appreciate. We pulled an 8,000-pound trailer, and actually 11,000-pound when I first brought it out here. And this has got one of the longest beds out there. It is the longest bed of all the trucks. It's 6'10", but that means that they've also moved the ball behind the axle to give you more room. But that's, for weight distribution, that's not the best idea, but that's what they did. But yeah, biggest bed out there. Payload on this is 3,760. Actually, we all know this is the Allison branded 10-speed. Of course, this is the diesel, so it's got a 500,000 mile on the powertrain. It's got an auto-locking rear differential. It's probably that G80 or whatever, buddy, 85. Independent front suspension. It's only 1 ton. It's the only truck out there with that in the heavy-duty class. You know, Ford and Ram use the mono-beam solid axle. And let's see, what else is exciting about this truck? Oh, I love those rear bumpers or the corner steps. You know, if they would come out with that like the Avalanche had, and like General Motors went to, now everybody's got them, then you can you don't have to have all those fancy tailgates, but people like those tailgates. Now, I think this is one of the best deals out there on the price of the diesel, because they're only showing here that the diesel, the 6.6 turbo diesel, is $9,490, and they don't show a separate price for the transmission. That's what Ram did, and Ford probably did that, but I know Ram did it with the Ison transmission. This has got the Allison branded one, so I'm thinking that might be included in that price. If it is the cheapest diesel heavy duty out there. The LTZ premium package, all the things you get with that, is $6,715. That's the front buckets, the center console, the US ports, the vented front seats, and I think it has heated seats in the rear. Sliding power window, the Bose premium sound, yeah, heated second row. The outboard seats, adaptive cruise control. That should all be included in that $7,615. Then they have a safety package, the park assist, front and rear trailer side blind spot alert, cross country traffic alert, and all that. So the bed view camera, really good cameras. These guys are the king of the cameras, and that camera goes down the side of your trailer is wonderful. They're the first ones to do that. It's got 20-inch wheels. That's what I have on my truck. Heads-up display is wonderful. I'll try to get a picture of that. It's got the gooseneck fifth wheel package with $1,090 there. Those powered steps are $2,295. Sprayed on bed liner is actually a pretty good deal. I don't see a price on it. The multiflex tailgate is $445. GVW on this thing, GVWR, is $12,100. So it gives you a few more pounds over. I think it's 750 pounds GVWR over what a 2,500 would be single rear wheel. Yeah, so, and it's a 342. That seems to be their big towing package for the heavy duties.